Hello guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the Free Hammers, a little walk through West Ham Memorial Park today. Some of you probably would have played over here in the past, you know, the old rugby ground as well. As promised, a review of yesterday's game, a wonderful send-off for Mark Noble, a really good result. And again, this keeps leading to that, you know, the progress of this club that we're disappointed. You know, some of us were a bit disappointed with a 2-2 draw, you know, in a game we arguably could have won potentially. Teams were the same as what you would, what you predict. Obviously, they had a couple of little injuries. Fernandinho playing at the back, clearly doesn't trust Acadia. Cancelo was still there. You know, they still had their top players in there. So, you know, there weren't really. There was still not a weakness in the team. Foden on the bench, Sterling on the bench. So they were really, really strong. I think we were a better team in the first half. I think it was fantastic that they were a bit slow and laboured in their possession, and I said that, didn't I, in the preview? You know, when you play Manchester City, to get anything out of them, they've got to be slightly off. You've got to be on top, and you've got to, take your chances wisely. When we did get possession, we used it. You know, we took our chances. The first goal, obviously played in lovely Bowen. I think it was Fornals that lifted one over to him, beat the offside trap fantastically well. We did that all day long. Again, me and Paul did a podcast back in September, October time, and we criticised Bowen, saying that if there's one thing that really winds me up with him is his finishing. And, if there's one thing that young man has worked on is his finishing. He didn't even look for that goal. He beat Edison, knew he had to lift the ball slightly and put it in, and that's something that he's really worked on. His finishing is fantastic now. Listen, if this young man don't get picked for England, it's an absolute joke. And what is his value now? His value must be ridiculous now. One of the only players to hit double doubles, 10 assists and 10 more than 10 goals, which is incredible. Second goal, very sort of similar style. Ball played over by Antonio, beat the offside trap again, and then I drove into the box diagonally, kept running, released a shot, went through Fernandinho's legs, and into the goal. 2-0, absolute dreamland, and we were good for our money then. They had a few little chances. I think it was Rodri that had a shot that deflected. Well, Dawson blocked it, and that nearly could have looked over. That could have gone anywhere. That was a bit of a dodgy one. We had Dawson's header as well for free. First half we were good for our money. If anything, the half we didn't want the half to end. It's one of those sort of performances. Second half, you was always going to expect Man City to come out and play a little bit harder, as they did. The worst thing happened is we conceded early. That's not what you want to do in a game like this. You need to be, sit on there, to that hour mark, and you can, start believing a bit. Obviously, Grealish put it in. Ball was whipped, went really high into the air, and he sort of, whether he meant it or not, he sort of smashed it into the ground. Then it deflected. I can't remember if it was Souček or Dawson. Deflected off and then went over Fabianski. A little bit unlucky, that one, but they deserved the goal. They was on top. We had a few really good chances as well. Antonio was through on goal, and he tried some ridiculous lob. Don't know if it goes in, it's world class, but it didn't go in, and that's one of the key moments in the game. Another chance, Bowen down the right hand side, cut in. Maybe was a bit greedy, could have laid it onto Declan Rice, who was coming in the back post. Again, that could have been 3-1 at that point. The game did go 2-2. Maybe not a foul for me, to be honest with you, the one that did lead to their goal. But they were whipping dangerous balls in all the time. The ball got whipped in. Soufal was in a sort of really difficult position where if he don't header it and it goes to the back post, he gets blamed. And if he does header it, there's a chance that it goes in, and unfortunately for him, it did go in. Fabianski pulled off a couple of good saves as well. There was a couple of low saves. Zinchenko had a really long shot that was saved. There was another long shot, but I can't remember who that was from, top of my head. Another really good chance was Bowen. The ball was whipped over to him, whipped in. Souček headed it down into his path, and but for a block, that would have been his hat-trick. So he was really unlucky there to not be 3-2 in front. And then the real, the terrifying bit of the match happened with Dawson bringing down Jesus. And then obviously they had their penalty. Definite penalty, and you know there are arguments that maybe they should have had a penalty in the first half as well. Mahrez stepped up, you know, got a really good record from penalties, very good at putting it in the top corners. But Fab saved a few this season, you know, he has saved a few. So I was a little bit confident, you know, sort of bit of, you know, thought maybe. Yeah, Mahrez stepped up and he's pulled off an absolutely fantastic save, Fabianski, to keep it 2-2. And yeah, apart from that, nothing really happened after that, did it? The ref tried his best to, you know, keep it going for as long as he could. And I thought he was terrible, the referee, yesterday. He didn't give nothing our way in terms of free kicks for Antonio, or, you know, he's very quick to book our players, but nothing for them. Mark Noble did come on. You know, must have been an amazing, you know, feeling for him, real emotional. You know, and he come on and did what he had to do. This wasn't, you know, it weren't a, what's it called, you know, a token substitution, you know, where it's like, oh, let's just bring him on so he gets his clap and all that. No, he came on, did what he had to do. I thought there's some good performances out there yesterday. I really did. A lot of players were, you know, really dug in. Best we've seen Souček in a long while. Antonio was running his socks off. Bowen is just getting better and better and better. And listen, if you don't get picked for England, it's ridiculous. How much is he worth, guys? There's a question for you. How much is he worth now? And if he goes and plays for England, how much is he worth? That'd be ridiculous. The draw secures Europa League conference, which again, I'm not going to turn my nose up at that. It's a good competition, but we still do have a chance to get Europa League if we match. If we've got to beat Brighton, which is not an easy task. You know, we've not won there for a long time. And they've got to lose to Palace or draw to Palace. I think a draw to Palace would be enough. I think it is, yeah. I think if they draw with Palace and we win, we just got a better Man United's result. Man United are not great. I know they've had 2 weeks rest. But, you know, how much they've got left in terms of, you know, players thinking, are we going to be there or not? Yeah, at the end of the day, it gives us something to look forward to. We're not going to lose anything, you know. We either get Europa League or we've already guaranteed Europa League conference. And the fact that we've done that in a season where we've got to semi-finals of competitions, had a really depleted squad for long times, it's fantastic. And listen, we'll talk about that more when we do our season review, but anyone who's turning their nose up at the Conference League, come on. For West Ham to be in Europe for 2 years in a row, to give us them experiences. People have been asking, do you know where we're going? Apparently in the Conference League you're going in the playoff. If you remember, Tottenham played that team Paco Rabanne or Paco Di Ferrari or something like that nearly knocked them out. So you're not guaranteed to go straight in the group stage, which is something that's a little bit dodgy. But you know, I expect us to, you know, be able to at least get to the group stage and do some business in there. And there were some good teams in there. A lot of teams. The final is Roma. I can't remember who the other team is, but Roma are a huge team. Huge team. Just one last thing to finish the video. A big thank you to Mark Noble on a wonderful career at West Ham and a loyal servant. His speech was fantastic, you know, short and sweet, but really to the point. You know, big future, and I do believe, you know, he will be back at the club in some role. I do believe he fits really well into Moyes' mantra and that, you know, what he tries to build as a coaching team with the Stuart Pearces, the Kevin Nolans and people like that as leaders, you know, leaders to produce leaders, and that's what we've seen. You know, something I've always said for a long time making this channel is West Ham have lacked leadership and lacked players on the pitch. You can see now in that team there's a lot of leaders, but that's because they're being trained by leaders, and Noble definitely has a place, you know, for the youth and, you know, development of players. We can see that with Declan Rice. So yeah, thank you, Mark. Enjoy the last game if you do get some minutes against Brighton. Yeah, but this is the new era now. You know, this is the, you know, in 1 game's time, this is the non-Mark Noble era. And it's time to start making some new legacies and some new heroes that we can all love and get behind. Anyway, guys, until next time, I'll be back in the week with a Brighton game. Me and Paul may be together for Wednesday. We keep saying we want to do a podcast, but we just keep missing each other with work schedules. But yeah, thanks again, guys. We'll be back with my preview for the Brighton game, last game of the season. Then we're all bored again, where we actually have to start spending time with our missus again. You know, it's going to be a long break, but hopefully a very exciting summer in store with players coming in and some, you know, some deadwood going out as well. Oh, I just want to say one last thing, sorry, I just forgot. Obviously probably Yarmolenko's last West Ham home game as well. Well, it is, he's confirmed it. You know, when he first came on the scene, fantastic. You know, scored some really good goals against Everton, Man United, and then the injury sort of killed him. Scored some important goals, the Chelsea goal, obviously Europa League goals. You know, so he's got something sketched in West Ham history for himself. I really liked him as a player for a long time. It was only injuries and, you know, lost that bit of pace that killed him. But yeah, good luck to him as well. You know, top professional. You know, played for the under-23s to keep himself playing football. That says a lot about a man. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Until next time, come on you irons, keep believing. Have a good week. Let's go.